Oh, can you see me? Okay, thanks.
I can see you subscribe. Okay.
Hi, Jen. Margaret. Hi, Lungis. Fine, thanks, and you? Thanks.
Recording in progress.
So Grace,
Chair. Hi,
are we ready,
Chairperson.
are we ready to start?
Yes, we are, Chairperson.
Oh, okay. Can you just indicate if all honorable members are logged in?
Thank you, Chairperson. In attendance, Chair, we have Honorable Mama Rekhane, Honorable Moimang, Honorable Dango, Honorable Dodov, Honorable Mushodi, and yourself, Honorable Dango, and yourself, Chair. I'm trying to check whether there are other members that are coming in while I'm talking. I think that's
Afternoon, Chair.
all.
Honorable
Chair
Grobler.
from
Honorable Grobler is also on. Sorry, my apologies.
Honorable.
We're starting with the select committee member.
I'm starting with the select committee members.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. We also have members from the Gauteng legislature from the portfolio committee. Honorable Papa, the chairperson. Honorable Letsualo. Honorable Letsi. Honorable Duplessis. Honorable Mtunge and Honorable Mtungeli. Sorry, Honorable Mtungeli. We also have members from the KZN legislature.
You called me.
From the portfolio committee, Honorable Zungu, Honorable Mavimbela, Honorable Govenda. Those are the lists that I've received from the provinces. I have not received the other lists. And we have an apology from the Deputy Minister, Honorable Peters. And the Mr. Sisa Makebeni from the Office of the State Law Advisor. The support in attendance, we have Madia Solomon, the co-secretary. We have Enrico Bazir, the committee secretary. We have Ms. Haley, the parliament legal advisor.
Okay.
We also have the provincial liaison officers from the Constitution House. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you so much. Let me formally open the meeting and welcome all honorable members, the Minister of Small Business Development, our colleagues from the provinces, the MPFs, from the Gauteng legislature and the and the KwaZulu-Natal legislature. You are all welcome. Also welcome to the staff of the committee, the staff of parliament, the DG of the Department of Small Business Development, and the other officials from the department, and the official from the entities of the also compliments of 2024. We are meeting as a select committee for the second time today. We had a meeting in the morning where we were briefed by the Minister of Employment and Labor on the issues relating to the department and its entities. We are now reconvening for this 2 o'clock meeting to get a briefing on the National Small Enterprise Amendment Bill. So we will at this stage then hand over to the minister to make opening remarks. We will then get a briefing, honorable members. We allow questions for clarities from the select committees, the members of provincial legislatures, from the provinces, and then the committee secretary will then table the program on the briefing to those provinces that let me clarify, Gauteng has made a request that they won't be having a separate briefing by the permanent delegate from the select committee. Instead, they will form part of this meeting as part of the briefing. But other provinces have submitted the dates on which they will be briefed by the permanent delegates and the officials from the Department of Small Business Development. She will then table that program. We also have a letter from the Western Cape legislature written by the Speaker of the legislature to the chairperson of the National Council of Provinces. That letter has been forwarded to me as a chairperson. I will ask the committee secretary to read it, and then we have a discussion as the select committee only, and the way forward on that letter. I see there's a hand of Honorable Tomo. Over to you, Honorable Tomo.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Chair, and my apologies to distract you. I just wanted to let you know that as Mpumalanga Portfolio Committee, all members are part of the meeting. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you so much. We are also welcome. I was not aware. Thank you so much, Honorable Tom. So that will be the procedure then that will follow after having discussed the issue of the Western Cape and take a decision on that. Depending on the outcome of that discussion, we will then table the program going forward of the select committee. Thank you very much. Honorable Minister, you are welcome. Greetings to you and compliments of the new season. I will then hand over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Chairperson, and good afternoon to all the honorable members of the Select Committee, the department or the entire portfolio, and any other guest that is on our call. Chairperson, I would like to, before I zoom into the mandate of the day, to just highlight the fact that we are starting this year on a flat foot and a bad note, wherein we've seen God recalling the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee of Small Business Development, the late Honorable Violet Sewell. Of course, I highlight this because of the great work that she has started, that today we find ourselves having to come and make a presentation to yourselves. Her leadership character and her commitment to the entire enterprise ecosystem is what we shall remember her for. As she crisscrossed the entire country, making sure that she brings on board all the stakeholders in order to make sure that this bill becomes a success, but more so to ensure that she gives, together with the Portfolio Committee, they give an opportunity to the ordinary citizens of our country, the SMMEs, the cooperatives in particular. All this work that she did, she was clear that we need to unlock the potential of the micro, small, and medium enterprises, including the cooperatives, as key drivers of growth and economic inclusion. Indeed, she will be sorely missed. We continue to honor her commitment and leadership to get this national enterprise National Council of Provinces to finalize the National Small Enterprise Amendment Bill. We really encouraged Chairperson to see that the Select Committee has kickstarted the processes of consultations as required for this Section 76 bill that requires concurrence by yourselves. If I were to take you on few highlights that the bill seeks to address, things that we believe that are very important, and as I said, I'll briefly talk to them. The department is here. They will then get into the details. What we seek to do through the bill is to incorporate the Small Enterprise Finance Agency and the Cooperatives Banks Development Agency, which is currently under the National Treasury, into the Small Enterprise Development Agency. What this means is that we're not only giving effect to the Cabinet decision of 2020 on the rationalization of state entities, or also addressing the concerns of SMMEs and cooperatives ecosystem stakeholders. But what we're doing is to integrate all the support that is required by the SMMEs and cooperatives, whether it is financial support or non-financial support. Again, through the bill, we therefore propose the establishment of this new agency that we call the Small Enterprise Development and Finance Agency. That becomes a one-stop shop small enterprise agency. And we believe that by doing so, would have eliminated lots of certain costs, misalignment on the product offering, but also so much time that gets to be consumed by the intended beneficiaries. At least now they can go to the same place and be able to say, as the department makes interventions, we look at the entire value chain in relation to the developmental aspect that we are responsible for. The center of it is ensuring that we look also not only on funding and investment support, business facilitation and incubation support, but also look at other things that we have observed over time through the research that we've conducted and listening to the entrepreneurs. Things like contract management processes, wherein our small and medium enterprises embark on franchises and other contractual deals. But then because we have not been providing the support, then you find out that they are really abused in some of those, and they enter into contracts without understanding because they lack the support. The second aspect that is introduced in the bill is empowering the minister, whom in consultation with the Minister of Trade, Industry and Competition and the broader micro, small and medium enterprise ecosystem, to declare certain trading practices as unfair trading practices. This is brought to ensure that SMMEs and cooperatives are safeguarded against ambiguous business contract terms and are afforded the right to reasonable payment terms and interest on late payments, the right to disclosure of relevant information, and the right to accountability by large enterprises and government. I want to highlight this and emphasize it. This does not give the minister unfettered powers, as some mischievous elements would have us believe. With Chapter 3, Section 17Y, clearly outlining the processes and checks and balances for declaring these unfair practices. It's not a matter of a minister, he or she, that will decide to wake up and say this is what is happening as an individual. That chapter clearly tabulates what processes and who is involved in reaching the decision that is expected. The third aspect is the establishment of the Office of the Small Enterprise Ombuds as a juristic person that sets the criteria for the appointment of this, who will be accountable to the minister and therefore to Parliament. As I indicated, Chairperson, the department will further explain in detail in the presentation. This Office of the Ombuds will, amongst other things, deal with the matter of late and non-payment to small and medium enterprises and cooperatives by both government and the private sector. small businesses are taken out of business because of certain unfair practices, which is why we are saying let there be a champion, somebody with authority that can be able to take action when those unfair practices arise. Honorable members of the committee, we look forward to working together and providing any necessary support to ensure that this bill is passed before the end of the term, as it is one of the priority bills of the term, as declared by the leader of government business. Again, this is not meant to make sure that minister's legacy or this and that because of elections, but everybody as in the small business ecosystem will agree that these are critical aspects that the bill seeks to address, that we can't wait anymore. This bill has been delayed for too long, more than 10 years, and we believe it is the right thing to do, especially looking at the economic conditions of our country. We believe that the high unemployment rate that we have can be minimized if we do justice to the small and medium enterprises and the cooperatives of our country. Chairperson, as indicated earlier, I'm here with officials from our department, as led by the Acting Director General with her entire team, and of course, our agencies are here as led by the CEOs. We look forward to constructive feedback from yourselves as the select committee members. And Chairperson, I would like to thank you, and with your permission, invite the Acting Director General of the department to then lead the process in detail in terms of the presentation. Thank you so much, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, the opening remarks. Let me indicate, Honorable members, that this morning I was kicked out because of network problems. I would want to suggest up front that Honorable Moimang, if I get kicked out, please take over the chairing of the meeting. Please be on standby. Let me now hand over to the acting DG, Ms. Manzini. Over to
you. Thank you very much, Chairperson, and all the members and everybody that is present, honorable members, and also with me, my name is Thulisile Manzini, as introduced, and with me, I am accompanied by the CEOs of the entities, but also the DTGs and officials of the department. With your permission, Chairperson, may I please close the camera for a better bandwidth? Thank you.
Yes, I can see that it's red, so you may also be kicked out anytime.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Can we move to the next slide, please? The minister has really given the background in terms of why you are here and has touched on the issues, so it will make my life very easy in terms of my presentation. The presentation outline this morning will cover the objective of the bill, which I think the minister has really explained. And also I will touch on the new entity, the SETFA, and also the Office of the Small Enterprise Ombud Services, the establishment of the office, powers and functions, unfair trading practices, definition of small enterprise, and also section 20, subsection 2. And then let's proceed. The objective is of today, or of the bill, the National Small Enterprise Amendment Bill 2023, which we call the bill. It seeks to amend the National Small Enterprise Act of 1996, number 102 of 1996, called the Act. Primarily one, it is to provide for the establishment and registration in terms of the Companies Act, number 71 of 2008 of the Small Enterprise Development Finance Agency, and the subsequent incorporation into SETFA of the Small Enterprise Financing Agency, SEFA, the Cooperative Bank Development Agency, CPDA, and also the Small Enterprise Development Agency, which is SEDA. The establishment also of the Office of the Small Enterprise Ombud Services, which we'll be calling the office throughout the bill, but again in the presentation. Which enables the minister to declare certain practices in relation to small enterprises to be prohibited as unfair trading practices. Again, it proposes an amendment to Section 20, subsection 2 of the Act to provide clarity on the interpretation of the powers assigned to the minister in amending the schedule to the Act, as well as the definition for small enterprises, to allow for simplification of the schedule, and also the amendment of the definition for the small enterprises. Let's move to the next slide, please. The SETFA. This establishment of the SETFA give effect to a cabinet decision to enable and provide for the integrated support, both financial and non-financial, to small enterprises, including our cooperatives. In addition, this amalgamation of the three entities, it contributes to the cabinet endorsed rationalization of the number of SOEs, and we are putting it through this bill into effect. The purpose of SETFA, therefore, will be to ensure that the small enterprise and the cooperative ecosystem is able to offer the most efficient business advice, business development services, investment support, business facilitation, and incubator support. The vision of SETFA is to be a leading business development entity that will drive economic transformation and inclusive growth in the economy through ensuring the provision of customized financial and non-financial support and greater access to finance for SMMEs. Again, the bill, it also provides for SETFA to be established as a state-owned company in terms of the Companies Act, and the state to be the sole shareholder with the minister as the sole representative of the shareholder. SETFA operations are subject to the PFMA and the Companies Act. The bill sets the criteria and the composition of the board and requires the board to constitute specified board committees, including an audit and risk committee and the board nomination committee to assist in the public and transparent board appointment process. Let's move, please. The Office of the Small Enterprise Ombud Service, which is the office. The mischief of the bill aims to remedy, the mischief the bill aims to remedy is the lack of the effective and affordable access to a justice mechanism for small enterprises. Business-to-business disputes and late and non-payment of legitimate invoices are a significant reality in the lives of small enterprises across the world, with very real implication on their growth. When we say legitimate invoices, we talk about invoices that meet all the required requirements for being honored. Section 34 of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, it guarantees that everyone has a right to have a dispute that can be resolved by the application of law decided in a fair public hearing before a court, or where appropriate, another independent and impartial tribunal or forum. The litigation route for resolving dispute places SMMEs at a significant disadvantage relative to their larger business counterparts for at least 3 reasons. One of the reasons is the financial cost of unresolved dispute is heavily borne by small enterprises. The second one, even where the amount involved is large, going to court is still a prohibitive proposition for small enterprises. And the third one, the process is cumbersome, time-consuming, and of course, expensive. The bill provides for an office as a jurisdictional person and sets the criteria for the appointment of ombuds who will be accountable to the minister and parliament. Provide for the functions of the office to be performed by an ombud, assisted by any deputy ombud operating in regional offices where necessary. Again, the office is subject to the PFMA. The functions, powers, and funding of this office. The bill provides for the office to consider and dispose of complaints in a procedurally fair, informal, economical, expeditious manner, and by reference to what is equitable in all the circumstances with due regard to the contractual arrangement or other legal relationship between the complainant and any other party to the complaint. the Ombuds Service will provide a full suite of services from complaints handling to investigation, alternative dispute resolution, the ADR, adjudication, contracting, practice modeling, function to assist small enterprises, and draft and sign fair and sound contractual agreements. Determination by the Ombuds must be made in writing, and it must include the reasons for the determination, and copies of the determination and complaint must be sent to the clerk or registrar of the court that will have had jurisdiction in the matter had it been heard by a court. Determination by the Ombuds are mandatory and binding, providing the ADR, which is the alternative dispute resolution mechanism, with the aim of avoiding litigation, which is expensive and time-consuming. Again, provision is, however, made for review specifically on the grounds of 1, illegality, procedural unfairness, or irrationality, thus still protecting the constitutional right of all persons involved. Unfair trading practices. This bill, or the bill, enables the minister to, on recommendation of the Ombuds, as I've mentioned in the previous slide, declare certain trading practices in relation to small enterprises to be prohibited unfair trading practices. The bill set the parameters and procedures in terms of which the minister, by notice in Gazette, may declare certain practices in relation to small enterprises to be prohibited unfair trading practices. And these procedures, among others, include 1, before issuing a notice contemplating to declare certain practices to be prohibited unfair trading practices, the minister must first consult with the minister responsible for trade, industry, and competition. Secondly, following the publication of the intention to declare certain practices to be unfair trading practices, the minister must consult with ministers responsible for the national functions that will be affected by such a declaration. Thirdly, the intention and reasons to declare certain practices as prohibited unfair trading practices must be published in the Gazette for public comments. Definition of small enterprise. The definition for small enterprise, among others, sets the size categories as well as the criteria and the threshold determining the sizes categories of small enterprises. The objective, therefore, is to reduce the number of size categories as well as criteria to simplify the classification of the different size categories of small enterprises. There are currently 4 size categories. Currently, we have got the small, very small, micro, and medium, and 3 criteria: number of employees, total turnover, and the total gross asset value. For the size category, very small, will be to be removed. The size category, very small, to be subsumed into the size category small, because users find it not to be useful. This will allow for the simplification and alignment with international best practices. The abbreviation will change from SMME, which is small, very small, micro, and medium, to MSME, micro, small, and medium. The criteria asset value to be removed. There is no reliable evidence-based data available to support the criteria for asset value, and this will allow for threshold to be set on evidence-based data. Section 20, subsection 2 of the Act, the bill also proposes an amendment to Section 20, subsection 2 of the Act to provide clarity on the interpretation of the powers assigned to the minister in amending the schedule of the Act. And this amendment is necessary to bring the section in line with a recent Constitutional Court judgment. The Portfolio Committee on Small Business Development hosted public hearings on National Small Enterprise Amendment Bill in all the 9 provinces. And these hearings happened from 26 October 2023 to 23 November 2023. Comments received through the public hearings were in general positive. The department responded to the comments received during these hearings. There were minimal amendments that were made to the bill based on the public recommendations that were received. The National Assembly considered the bill on the 6th of December 2023 and recommended that the bill be submitted to the NCOP for concurrence. Our recommendation this morning is recommended that the select committee notes and considers the bill and recommend it for tabling at the National Council of Provinces for concurrence. I thank you.
Thank you very much, DG, for the presentation. I will now open the platform, honorable members, for questions of galaxies. All members, both the select committee and members from the provincial legislatures are free to ask questions for clarity. I'll take hands if there are any. Any hands? I take it that the presentation was clear because I don't see any hands from members.
Chair?
Yes.
It's Honorable
Honorable
Dodo.
Dodoku, yes.
I apologize that I don't show my face precisely because the network is very terrible. And again, there are problems of load shedding where I am. Chair, my question, because the last part of the presentation speaks to the definition of small enterprise or whatever that you call it. In this particular instance, is there any specific definition that relates to foreigners and non-foreigners, especially in respect of the township economies? That's my only straightforward question, Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Dodo. Are there any other questions, honorable members?
Yeah,
Sorry, Chair. Sorry.
Can you please raise your hands, honorable members?
But I'm trying to look at, I can't really find this hand thing here. But can I just speak? That's Mpapa from Gauteng.
Okay, please continue. After that, good. Honorable Lont and then Honorable Governor.
Oh, thank you very much.
And myself too, Chair. I have a challenge.
Okay, Honorable Moimang, you'll follow, and Honorable Dango.
I think it's a general challenge. I searched this hand. I couldn't really find it. But now, otherwise, let me just continue. I just showed my face.
There's something called reaction on the app. Do you see reaction?
Oh.
Okay, you can continue. You'll check it later. Please continue.
All right. No, thank you very much.
Please,
for me, it's about the methods. Am I audible?
I have a challenge of network, so I don't know whether the problem is on my side or not. I'm struggling to hear you. Can we hear? Can you hear him? Can we all hear him? Okay. Can I come back to you later? Can I take Honorable Lont, followed by Honorable Governor, followed by Honorable Dango, Honorable Moimang, and then there's iPhone. If iPhone can please write your name.
Can you hear you?
Honorable Lont, I'll come back to.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Fai.
So much whether
can I come back to you because we're struggling to hear you? You'll come last. You'll come last. Let's take Honorable Lont now. And then after that, Honorable Govender, Honorable Dango, Honorable Muimang. And can you rename yourself iPhone? Then we'll take Honorable Papi up as the last person. Honorable Dango, sorry, Honorable Lund, can you please go ahead?
Okay, thank you, Honorable Khai.
Just before that, Honorable Lund, can we ask everybody else to mute their microphones, please? You can go ahead, Honorable Lund. Sorry
Thank you, Honorable Khai. So, Honorable Khai, the first part is partly directed to you. You can also refer it to our procedural officers and partly to the department as well, because we have a massive problem now with public participation that needs to take place on several pieces of legislation. And it's all good and well that we send these legislation through the different select committees to the provinces, but there you have a small number of people that have to do a lot of public participation. And I saw the one province, I think, has to do 9 bills they're going to do in kind of one sitting. Now, surely that is not constitutional. And we're risking going through a process by forcing legislation through last minute. We creating a bottleneck in the provinces, and we risking wasting time, resources, and also then bills being referred back after not having sufficient public participation. So that's the one, Chair, that I want to flag. And you remember we started flagging this last year already in the committee. Now, end of last year, when this department came to present, I also raised some questions about this in the committee. You said, no, I need to re-ask those questions when you do the actual presentation. And in short, there's a lot of this that is good, but there's also some concerning powers given to the minister to interpret what unfair trading practices are. And if we don't have clarity at the beginning, this opens, and I'm not saying this minister will do it, but it opens the possibility that certain sectors, certain individuals, certain companies might be prejudiced only due to an interpretation. And then we're going to sit with further problems. So it would be better for us to get clarity, clear guidelines on the do's and the don'ts, as is the practice in legislation, and not leave it open for interpretation. But I would first like that first part before we have any other follow-up questions, Chair, because we are risking wasting a lot of time and money and not adhering to what is expected in the public participation to get this legislation through.
I take it that you are done, Honorable Lund. The next person is Honorable Govender. P. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson, and greetings to all our colleagues on the platform. And thank you to the department for the in-depth presentation. Chair, my initial question was largely covered by Honorable Lund. With regard,
just a minute, Honorable Govender. We're going to remove this iPhone person who's not renaming the gadget, because also the gadget is disturbing now because the microphone is on. Please.
Chair, my name is Sizakele Nkosi, and the reason why the microphone is on, I'm trying to rename myself, and unfortunately, I'm not good at this thing. That's the reason why it is on, and my sincere apologies, Chair.
Okay, please. Okay, you can remain iPhone if you can't change it, but please switch your microphone off, please. Thank you very much.
Okay, okay,
you can continue.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Continue, please, Honorable Govender.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chair. As I was saying, my initial question was largely covered by Honorable Lund with regard to the timeframes that we have before this bill can go through the various processes. Now, I won't go back into detail on that. Whilst I welcome the establishment of the Office of the Ombudsman, in which I see a lot of value in terms of assisting the SMMEs especially, I don't know whether I missed any part of the presentation because of connectivity, but my question is, how will the ombudsperson be identified? One. Two, how will the Office of the Ombudsman be funded if there's going to be staff involved in that office? And has provision been made for the financing of the Office of the Ombudsman? Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Govinda, followed by Honorable Dango.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. And let me greet all for this new year and hope it's very successful for everyone. Having said that, Chairperson, I think the issue of process was raised as a question. Maybe we should park the issue of process until later and deal with the issue of process separately. And just deal with the substance of this particular bill at this particular point in time. With that, let me ask a question. Does the bill make any provision for the establishment of cooperatives, small cooperatives that can grow? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Dango. Honorable Muima.
Thank you, Chair. Greetings to yourself and also to the leadership of the department present in this meeting and our colleagues from the various provincial legislatures. Chair, allow me to start by expressing a word of appreciation to the briefing by the Minister, particularly in relation to the steps to amend various pieces of legislation that in the past the committee has raised as areas that needs a relook, particularly in relation to the role also that the bill gives to the minister, particularly around clarity in terms of the definitions of small enterprise, but also the referral to a declaration of certain practices. It would be important probably if the DG could give us an example of what such practices will constitute. Just an example. The second one relates to the just a question in relation to why the National Empowerment Fund probably was not also considered. Of course, take into account the fact that it is an entity in a different department. But looking at the distinction between the ambit of the IDC and also the National Empowerment Fund, one is of the view that maybe as it has been raised in the past, that there might be a need also for this National Empowerment Fund to be brought on board, merged with CEDA and also the NEF. Now, in terms of the presentation by the DG under Section 20, there is a referral to a sentence that says, this amendment is necessary to bring the section in line with the recent Constitutional Court judgment. If the DG could maybe give just an elaboration on that so that as committee members we are on board in terms of what was the thrust. Other than that, Chair, a role of the Office of the Ombuds, one believes that it will be able to mitigate some of the protracted processes that in the past has engulfed the small enterprises, particularly where there's a dispute, because it is quite clear that the Office of the Small Enterprise Ombuds has a number of areas that it will be focusing on, particularly around justice to micro small enterprises. But I think it will be important probably just to get an assurance from the DG that when it comes to the issues around leveraging technology, that is an area that they are looking into, particularly to ensure that technology is leveraged to be able to exert influence and reach areas that are in the far-flung areas, rural communities, but also the expectation is that this office will also make things much more easier in terms of regulatory burdens, because in the past, stringent rules has been identified as an inhibiting factor in terms of growth and expansion of SMEs and cooperatives. Other than that, Chair, I'm happy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Maimang. Sorry, I forgot the name. The iPhone has told us the name. Just forgotten. It's your turn.
Okay, no, thank you very much, Chair. And my
you just
sincere...
remind us your name, please.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, Chair. My name is Sizagele Nkosi Malobane from Gauteng Legislature, and my sincere apology about the mishap that happened earlier. Chair, I've got some few things that I want to raise, very, very few. First, the issue of public participation, it has been touched by two of our honorable members. You know, in Gauteng, we've already gone through a serious public participation regarding the township economic bill, of which some of the things that we have done and some of the things that are raised by the bill are actually what the minister and our DDG have actually presented. And I'm worried that it's actually a trying time for us as legislatures now in terms of public participation. You know, there might be a situation where we call these meetings and they end up being misinterpreted as election meetings. And of course, there's temptation that if the hall is full, one will then want to sell his party of choice. And I think it is important that we monitor such public participation things. And where there is a gray area like the township economic bill, I think some of these issues must actually be looked at and then maybe incorporated in the new in this new one. The second one, Chair, is the issue of protection of South Africans who are involved in economic activities in the townships. Yes, we believe that we have our brothers from other countries who are here, but they've actually invaded economic activities that naturally will be given to those with lesser skills. And I'm actually expecting that a bill like this one will then be able to highlight those areas so that we, in terms of percentage, in order to make sure that at least people who are originally from South Africa are then prioritized in terms of economic activities. You know, we had signed a number of agreements with different countries, including China. And you look at how China have actually destroyed our industry, Yoktunga, for example. Those industries have actually disappeared because there was no quota system that was introduced in order to make sure that we protect those that are in that industry, particularly those are involved in designing industry. So I think it is time that whenever we come up with a piece of legislation like this, our people are also properly protected. And I think the only way to do so is by introducing enforceable laws that when they are introduced, then there is a system of making sure that we enforce them and protect our people. Otherwise, Chair, I'm very much happy. I'm one of those that are happy with the presentation that was made by the department. And I actually believe that if properly implemented, it will actually assist in making sure that our economy grows. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, Honorable Suzage. Honorable Kanyana.
Once more, and I hope this time I'm audible.
Very audible, yes.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, in terms of the content, I don't really have much. I'm really content with what is really contained in this bill. I think my issue is on the method, how we'll be really sourcing information from the public, which is the public hearings. I'm not sure whether Honorable Dengo, when he was talking about the processes, was referring to that, because I wanted really to get out of this meeting very clear in terms of how we'll be really conducting these public hearings. Because as Gauteng, though we've really adopted the TEM program, but we really have a posture that based on the current, where across the parties we're busy with the political work, we are saying this public participation largely will do it through the written submissions. So we have just secured one public hearings that is next week on the 15th in Ekangala, Bronkhorstspruit. But from there, it will be a matter of written submissions. And then if ever that won't really compromise the processes, especially that's the section 76, if it doesn't really compromise that, that's what we want really to embark upon as the province, so that we are able to allow members to really do the other work politically. So I think that's the one that I want really to raise and deposit and get a clarity and a guidance, that when we go to our meeting this Thursday on the 8th, we really revisit our TEM program, and then we define the methodology very clear. But otherwise, we wanted really to make sure that we get the necessary information as we can. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much. I think what happens, honorable members, there was a presentation by the Department of Small Business Development. They gave us a presentation on what is contained in the bill, amended bill, and the purpose of the bill. So there was nothing about then the process going forward. So I thought that the questions of clarities were going to be on the bill itself. We're coming to the issues of processes beyond the presentation and clarification of the questions from members relating to the bill itself. So I will now hand over back to the Minister and her team just to respond on those questions that relate to the bill. And you leave out the issues of the processes, because those will be processes of Parliament, not processes of the executive. I've decided to switch off my video because I have a challenge of network. Minister and DG, maybe other officials of the department and entities, you can those questions that are related to the bill itself. We're still coming to the program that will be followed. Yeah. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chair, and thank you to the honorable members for the inputs and comments that have been made. Chairperson, whilst I'll be talking to some of the inputs that relate to the presentation that we made, I would like, with your permission, to request Kawekazi, my parliamentary liaison, to flight clause 17Y of the Small and Medium Enterprise Amendment Bill. While she's doing that, Chairperson, if you agree, I want to talk to a few things that the honorable members have raised. Okay, let me start with this one because it is here. Honorable Lond raises a concern on the fears around a minister that may use the powers in a manner that is not acceptable or that is manipulative or that would really punish others. In the bill that we are presenting to yourselves, as we have shared and consulted on the other side of the NA, this is how the bill reads. In relation to unfair trading practices, Clause 17Y, subsection 1, the minister may, by notice in the Gazette, declare certain practices in relation to small enterprises to be prohibited unfair trading practices. B, may, subject to subsections 2 to 5, instruct that a comprehensive investigation be undertaken by the Ombud into an alleged unfair trading practice on recommendation by the Ombud. C, the minister must consult with the minister responsible for trade, industry, and competition before issuing a notice contemplated in paragraph A, and must, in the performance of the function in terms of this section, consult with any minister responsible for a national function affected by the performance of that function. 2, small enterprises have the right to trade and transact freely, including the right to unambiguous business contract, the right to a reasonable payment date and interest on late payments, the right to disclosure of relevant information, and the right to accountability from large enterprises and government entities. 3, the practices contemplated in subsection 1A include A, ambiguous contract terms, B, lack of fair contracts, C, retrospective unilateral changes to business arrangements, D, the transfer of full commercial risk to the weaker party, E, the use of information outside the purpose for which the other party discloses it, F, sudden and unjustified termination of a commercial relationship or termination without reasonable notice, G, long-term exclusive agreements aimed at preventing weaker parties from entering an existing market, H, unfair exclusionary compliance requirements practices or unfair contract terms in retail and commercial leases for small enterprises. And this is what the bill proposes, that the minister must have a right to really administer. It is not something outside this. This is why we went into detail, and this is why we consistently referred members of the public, including those that are in parliament, to make a point that they read this bill, and especially this clause that I've spoken. I just wanted to highlight that. Under Chairperson, Kawe, you can therefore remove this part.
Just before that, can we ask Nokonwaba please to mute Nokonwaba Swala? Nokonwaba Swala, please mute.
Why is she connected to the meeting if she's not participating here, Unokonwa? My apologies, Chairperson.
Okay.
And the responsible person talked to Nokonwaba immediately to remove herself from the platform. Thank you, Chairperson. Honorable Dodovu raises an important matter that has been too topical and, of course, affecting our small businesses. The issue of the fact that this bill does not talk to the issue of foreigners and non-foreigners. When I gave the overview and the ADG got into the objects of the bill, we highlighted what the specific bill looks at. Now, under our portfolio.
Can the host please remove Nokonwaba Swala? Please. Can the host please remove Nokonwaba Swala?
Okay, Chair will do.
Okay. Please continue, Honorable Minister.
Thank you so much, Chairperson. The host, please, so that the honourable members can hear. Thank you. Now, Chairperson, under the portfolio that we are responsible for, there's two bills that were transferred to this department from the Department of Trade Industry. Then, the business licensing bill. The business licensing bill is what, when we came to the select committee earlier in the year, we said as part of our APP, we would like to have presented that bill, amending certain sections in it. Now, the business licensing bill is the one that looks at who can be licensed. As much as I'm highlighting this, honorable members, I would like to bring to your attention the constitution of our country that does not allow for anyone who is trading legally in our country to be excluded from trade. I want to emphasize that. The constitution of our country does not allow for anyone to be people who are trading legally, which is what the business licensing amendment bill will be looking at. In these particular sectors, when we talk about licensing, who are the people that must therefore be licensed and what is expected of them? The select committee members will recall that at some point, we came to the NCOP, myself, Minister Aaron Mzwaledi and other ministers, to explain the licensing in relation to visas as to who is expected to do what under which visa in South Africa. I'm linking this because if you have applied to come and work in South Africa, which means you have a work visa, there's certain obligations that you have to meet and there's certain things that you can do. If you are here to study, the study visa again will tell you what you can do. If you want to apply for a business license, a business visa, the Immigration Act is very clear on who can get a business visa in South Africa. So these processes are legislated differently, although they are interlinked. Therefore, the issue of licensing, because I want to emphasize, it's not the issue of whether you're a South African or not, but on licensing, who then must do business in South Africa is what will be presented to to Parliament in the next administration, as we are in a process of gazetting the business licensing policy as things stand. I hope members can understand that part, to say it is still coming, but on this specific bill, it has its own strategic intent. Now, there's the issue that talks to how will the ombuds be appointed. In the overview, again, and the DG spoke to it, that the ombuds will be appointed by the minister. In the public service, there are conditions of appointing particular bodies as per the legislative clause that will be used, whether it looks at a schedule of that particular agency or what. And the office of the ombuds will not be different from those. The financing will come from the department. The department has to provide that support for the financing of this office. That is very critical to assist the SMMEs and cooperatives that continue to be bullied because they cannot afford to pay the legal costs that they get charged. And if you are looking at sustainability and growth of small and medium enterprises and cooperatives, we ought to make sure that there's a person dedicated to deal with those, and that person being given the authority that this bill seeks to provide. We are, through this act, we spoke of bringing 3 agencies, CIFA, which is the financing agency under the portfolio, the Cooperatives Bank Development Agency that I said, as things stand, it is under the National Treasury, but it's gonna be coming through this acquisition that we're making of it being incorporated to CEDA. Now, I said we are building or establishing a one-stop shop, which means you are a cooperative, you are a business as in licensed by CIPC in the different categories, you belong under this agency in terms of the support. There is the Cooperatives Act. The department is in a process of reviewing the strategy of the cooperatives in order to make sure that it talks to the current day's economic challenges and the participation of the cooperatives in the economy that we're talking about. We had made presentations to both the NSOP and the National Assembly on the matters. So we cannot, through this act, say we are establishing cooperatives because they already an act that establishes them. Hence, they can go to the CIPC and register and have those regulations that talk to their establishment. But on the financing, on the support, whether financial or non-financial, this agency addresses that aspect. The NEF not being amalgamated into this agency, I would leave that to the people who make the law to make a proposal if, as we are talking about consolidating all the resources that support the small and medium enterprises, NEF should in the near future be accommodated onto this one. Unfortunately, Chairperson, that one is above my pay grade. I would like to thank the members of the Select Committee once more for showing interest in listening to the presentation, and just to assure everyone here that this bill really looks at addressing most of the things that are related to its objects. And it is the first step towards addressing some of the concerns that are raised. This that is being reviewed, as I said, it has taken more than 10 years for us to be here, whilst the SMMEs are suffering. And the next level is the Business Licensing Amendment Bill, as I highlighted earlier. And we believe that if at least we have those 2 bills, at least the situation will improve, as it will be accompanied by the public procurement bill that looks at ensuring that we are able to set aside certain businesses in certain sectors that must be given to small businesses. This we do, honorable members, because the National Development Plan that we adopted dictates that for jobs to be created in South Africa, for us to have a transformed economy, we've got to put small and medium enterprises at the center. And therefore, if that is to be realized, certain legal prescripts must be in place, which is why we appeal to the members of the NSOP to continue with this work and no longer delay, because any more delays, they talk to an increased number of small and medium enterprises that continue to be taken out of the value chain in the economy. And therefore, those that are already benefiting as entrepreneurs themselves and those that are working for those small businesses being unemployed, because the tendency to exclude them continues. And as the people, the public representatives that are given a mandate by the people to look into their interests, it is imperative that we pass the legislations that are in the people's interest. Thank you so much, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Are there any other questions relating to the presentation or the bill? Not the processes that Parliament and legislatures will be dealing with. We're coming to that later. Are there any questions, honorable members? Seems not. Thank you very much, Minister, for the presentation and clarity to the questions of members. Some of the issues members relate to the deliberations. This will be our tasks as members of Parliament and members of provincial legislatures. There will be time where we will be deliberating in the legislatures, committees, in the select committee. For now, we are not yet deliberating because we must still also give the opportunity to the public to say their say on these matters. I will now then request Ms. Dinizulu to table the legislative process that will then include the letter that we will receive from the Western Cape Legislature. That will also, and then we will respond to that letter together with the questions from Honorable Lord and Honorable the Honorable who also raised the issue of the process. Honorable Governor P, yes. Ms. Solomon, oh, sorry, Grace Dinizulu, sorry.
Enrico, can you please share the program, please?
The one from the legislatures first, and after that, then the letter from the Western Cape Legislature.
The provincial briefings.
Yes, if you can take us through that.
Okay. We received the dates from the provinces with the dates of the briefing. Some provinces have already submitted the dates for the public hearings, but that one I will have to do it separately. The first dates, the Eastern Cape and the Free State will be meeting on the 9th of February. The Eastern Cape will meet from 11 to 1 o'clock virtual, and the Free State from 1400 virtual is a virtual meeting. The Gauteng province will meet with us jointly today. Limpopo is meeting on the 13th of Feb from 1800 virtual. The Mpumalanga on the 9th of Feb from 1700. And the Northwest Province on the 23rd of Feb virtual. The Northern Cape, they met today as the committee to discuss the date of the briefing. But, oh, no. Okay, they submitted Tuesday this. They met today on Tuesday to discuss the date of the briefing. So they will inform me maybe after this meeting to insert it on this program. The KZN province will be meeting on the 9th of February. I do not have the time. The Western Cape province have not submitted the date. I still have to read the letter that they've submitted to the chairperson of the NCOP. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Can we honor if you have any update on the date of the Northern Cape?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, the chairperson of the portfolio committee is on the platform. Maybe he can share light whether there is finality on that aspect.
All right.
Honorable Neo Manning.
Honorable Manning, can you update us, please?
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Yeah, indeed, we met today as the program meeting. I will forward we have agreed on the priority bills that we have to conclude. I think I can commit that I will forward to the committee the proper dates, but we are on board.
All right, thank you so much. Enrico, can you then flag the letter from the Western Cape legislature?
This is the letter from the Western Cape Provincial Parliament addressed to Honorable Masondo, the chairperson of the National Council of Provinces. It reads as follows. Dear Honorable Masondo, referral of National Council of Provinces, Section 76 bills, timelines provided to legislatures. I write to you on behalf of the Western Cape Provincial Legislature to express concern about the short timeliness given to the processing of Section 76 bills, and to formally convey a proposal put forth by the Standing Committee on Finance, Economic Opportunities, and Tourism. The committee recently received the respective select committee programs for the Public Procurement Bill, Bill 18B-23, and the National Small Enterprise Amendment Bill, Bill 16B-23. Following the discussions with the committee on Friday, 26 January 2024, where members were informed of the timelines provided for the public participation process for both bills and the deadlines for submissions of the negotiating and final mandates, the committee resolved to express its concern about the short timelines given for the processing of the bills. As the NCOP is aware, the legislature's committees are already processing several bills. In addition to their own provincial work, there is concern that some legislatures may not have the capacity to process the bills under these strict timelines, which do not provide much room for public hearings, a crucial part of the legislative process. It is important to take into consideration that the legislatures must find space within their own busy parliamentary program for these public participation processes. The committee would like to propose that the relevant NCOP select committees reconsider their programs for the Public Procurement Bill and the National Small Enterprise Amendment Bill to allow legislatures reasonable time to process the bills. Can you move up? The committee further proposes that the NCOP Select Committee consider shifting their dates to their second week of April 2024, which would allow the legislatures more time for public participation on the bills. Additionally, the committee kindly requests that the relevant NCOP committees contact the other legislatures to gauge their ability to process these bills within the timeframes that were stipulated. The committee kindly requests a response from the NCOP by the 2nd of February 2024 to enable it to make the necessary arrangements before the briefing to the provinces. I remain deeply concerned about the fact that inadequate timelines would effectively deny the provinces and their residents their constitutional rights to meaningful participation in the legislative process. I look forward to receiving your response. Kind regards, Dylan Michel, Honorable Dylan Michel, Speaker of the Western Cape Provincial Parliament. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Can you put then the legislative program for the committee?
Okay. The program, please, Enrico. Okay, let's start on let's skip the 6th of February. Oh, the 9th of February and the 16th of February have been set aside for the provincial briefings. Those 2 Fridays. And then on the 20th, which is Tuesday, we will be having public hearings on companies amendment bills from 9 to 1. And then from 2 to 5, there will be a plenary. And then we start again at 1830 to 2000. We'll continue with the public hearings. On Wednesday, the 21st February at 1500, we do the public hearings on the National Small Enterprise Amendment Bill. On Thursday, the 22nd at 1800, we will be receiving responses from the Department of Small Businesses to the written or oral submissions on the National Small Enterprise Amendment Bill. On Tuesday, the 27th February, from 9 to 1, the public hearings, we continue with the public hearings on companies amendment bills. And from 1800 to 8 o'clock, public hearings on companies amendment bill. On the 5th of March, 2024, from 1500 to 1830, is the departmental responses on stakeholders' issues raised during the public hearings on the companies amendment bill. Go down, please. Enrico. On Wednesday, the 6th of March, from 1800 to 8, is consideration of the negotiating mandates on the National Small Enterprise Amendment Bill. On Tuesday, the 12th of March, from 9 to 1 o'clock, deliberations on companies amendment bills. And from 1500 to 1730, consideration of final mandates on the National Small Enterprise Amendment Bill. Tuesday, the 19th of March, from 9 to 1, finalization of the companies amendment bills. On the 26th of March, from 9 to 1, the committee will be considering and adopt the committee's annual reports, the legacy report for the 6th Parliament. And then on the 2nd of April is constituency period. That's all, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that we will have to amend the program. especially when it comes to the negotiating mandates, as well as the final mandates. Because what is, in terms of the rules of the NCOP, or even the legislation, is that at least it should be an 8-week legislative cycle. If you count, because we're starting the process today, this is week 1. And therefore the 8th week should be the last week of March, because it say at least, so it should not be less than 8 weeks, the legislative cycle. So that's why we need to amend the program and resubmit it to the provinces, so that they take into account that they have an 8-week cycle in which to process the legislation. Secondly, the rules allow for the chairperson of the committee to write to the chairperson of the NCOP to request extension. Even that, it will have to be on substance of the bill. Also, the Speaker of the Legislature is allowed, in terms of the rules, to write to the chairperson to request for the extension of the period, focusing on the substance of the bill, not any other issues. As I had members talking about political programs, that would not be regarded as a substance of the bill. It talks about the substance of the bill, and the result, because of that substance of the bill, and therefore the legislature or the chair of the select committee would then request for the extension of that period. So what then was suggesting is that we should then agree that we will extend this to accommodate the 8 weeks that the rules are referring to, so that at the end of the last week of March, we will be considering the final mandates from the provinces. So provinces should be submitting their mandates by the end of March, in line with the 8-week legislative cycle. But in between, if there is any request on the substance of the bill, then the legislatures are then free to make that request. But that request will go to the chairperson of the NCOP. He will decide as to whether to grant that extension or not, or maybe decide on the number of days or weeks. It will be up to him. But what I wanted to just to clarify, that the program as it is does not take into account the NCOP legislative cycle, which is at least 8 weeks. So then the issue of the letter itself, then we cannot say that we will start in April. The process in terms of the 8 weeks starts now, because they were getting the briefing now. So this is the start of the 8-week cycle. We can't start now and then wait until April. So it won't be in line with the 8-week cycle, legislative cycle, if we start now with this briefing and then wait for April. So it won't be according to the rules. The rules say 8-week cycle, a legislative cycle, and then allow speakers and the chairperson to request for the extension of the period. That will also depend on the chairperson if he grants that. So we will liaise with the committee in terms of whether that should be extended or not. So that this will be the situation. Because, honorable members, that when this was passed in the National Assembly, it was then transmitted to the NCOP. We can't then say as NCOP, no, we will check whether provinces first have busy schedules or not. When it's transmitted to us, we don't have a choice but to process it. But also the rules allow in a situation where provinces, in terms of the substance of the bill, are unable to do that within the 8 weeks legislative cycle, to request to the chairperson of the NCOP for the extension. Any comments?
Chairperson, yes. Chairperson, I think the suggestions and recommendations that you make regarding the 8-week cycle is proper. That this committee, the select committee, should support that particular position. That you should write to the chairperson of the NCOP requesting that particular extension to accommodate the 8-week cycle. I so propose, Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Dango. Honorable Moimang.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I think given the consideration that the Chair placed on the 8-week cycle, I sincerely believe that that in itself necessitates that the legislature of the Western Cape relook at their request, because their request was based on the initial program of action, and now what the amendment made clearly the amended program goes to a larger degree in terms of accommodating them, and I believe that during the deliberation, one get a sense that it's only one province that raises the proposal of April, and clearly, as part of our legacy of the sixth administration, it becomes important that such critical bill, Chair, given number of interactions that the committee has engaged and raised with the department, when we have an opportunity to process a critical bill within the 8 weeks cycle, let's do that, because that will in itself provide ample opportunity for our public to participate in this critical bill. So therefore, I think it's only fair that the committee report to the national chairperson that the request for April by the Western Cape Legislature is not possible. But I think what is quite critical is that with the amended program, they have space to accommodate the pressure that they might have raised. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. Honorable Nganyani.
Yeah, no, thanks, Chair. I think you really clarified the matter. I know earlier on I had to jump before Mirupa Dudu, but you clarified it. I mean, the request that is based on the substance, it really put it very clear, so that it's not really something that is really subjective based on any politics or whatever. We really embrace the program as really outlined. And then again, I think the extension also, it really gives a leeway that we can really play around it. We'll have to, as Gauteng, we revisit also our our term program based on this, because there are two bills that we'll be dealing with that will be running concurrently. And I think I'm more comfortable if ever there's anything. As the chair, one will also make that request, but I don't see that happening to the chair of the NCOP. But I must say you really clarified it very well. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you so much. Are there any other comments, honorable members, on the matter? Seems not. So we agree that the committee secretary and the team will work out the program that will then accommodate the 8-week legislative cycle of the NCOP, which says at least 8 weeks. So negotiating mandates and the final mandates will be within that particular period. But where there is a request for the extension of the period, that will go to the chairperson, who will obviously then liaise with the committee in terms of that. So we're responding now to the chair. We have not responded. The letter that is written to the chairperson of the NCOP was forwarded to us. We have not yet responded. We will be responding now after this meeting. Let me also indicate that there was a letter. This is the second letter from the Western Cape Legislature. That was the first one was long before we opened the Parliament, or the end of the constituent period. Let me put it that way. We had responded to the chairperson at the time. At the time we said that we will still have to consult with the other 8 provinces and hear their views on the matter that was raised then by the Western Cape Legislature. We consulted with the provinces. We wrote back to the chairperson of the NCOP. The province that we couldn't get at the time was the Northwest, but subsequent to that, the Northwest indicated that they will also process this bill. Now we received this one. We felt that now, because it's at the time we didn't have meetings, but now because we had this meeting due, we decided that we refer this matter to this committee. So that's why we have not yet responded to the chair. So we'll be responding, but also attach the amended program that will be taken to the all the provinces, including the Western Cape Provincial Legislature. I don't know if Advocate Shamara Ali is on the platform. Give her the opportunity.
Oh, Chair, she's not on the platform, Chair.
Oh, okay. All right.
We have the parliamentary legal advisor.
Who's the legal advisor?
Haley.
Penny.
Haley.
Afternoon,
Oh, Penny.
Chair.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Tilana.
over to you.
Afternoon, Chair. It's Tilana Halley. Just a way of introduction, my name is Tilana Halley, and I'll be assisting the committee with this bill. I assisted the committee in the PC, and I have no problems with the program. The only thing I wanted to add to the program is that on the 22nd of March, I see that it says that the responses should be by the department. Can legal services also be slotted into the responses? Because we will then respond on any legal and constitutional issues that have come out of public hearings. And should there be any legal and constitutional issues that come out of any of the mandates, we will also respond to those.
Okay. All right. Maybe the easiest way, Tilana, is for you to work closely with the committee secretary on the program itself, so that legal advice should start at that level, at the technical level, before then it comes to the committee. So I suggest that even with the reworking of this program, that you'll be involved, because the first part will be that of the select committee. These public hearings will be the public hearings of the select committee, not of the provinces. provinces will conduct their own public hearings. They will come back with the negotiating mandates, and then later, after we have responded to their negotiating mandates, then they come back with the final mandate. So I suggest that starting from this evening, you work with the committee secretary on the reworked program that we will also submit to the chairperson of the NCOP, and then they will be circulated then to the
100% chairperson.
Yeah, thank you so much, Advocate Hill. Are there any comments, members, before we adjourn the meeting? Seems not. Oh, Honorable Maiman.
Just one from my side, Chair.
Yes.
In relation to the sister committee that it is meeting tomorrow morning to adopt the C list. So if members could also make sure that they are there. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you so much. That refers the honorable members to the select committee, to the one that is there for tomorrow. Honorable Minister, closing remarks on your side.
Thank you so much, Committee Chair, and I would like to thank all the honorable members for their dedication and inputs once more especially in trying to ensure that we really do justice to the constituency that we are responsible for. I am mindful of the matters that we all going to elections, but I think we would be more prouder if we were to, even when we go to elections, to say we've done the best that we could do to the constituency. That entirely depends on us for its survival and therefore its success in the work that it does. As the department, Honorable Chair, I would like to commit that we will avail all the support that will be required from our side as we'll be undertaking the work that we will undertake once you confirm with ourselves. Once more, we thank the members of the Select Committee for the continued support and advice on the work that we do. Thank you so much, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. So you will start availing your official then from the 9th. I think the first one, the briefing, are starting on the 9th. I think that document which was flighted earlier will be sent to your department so that officials are made available. I think most of them, I think if not all, are virtual briefings. Yeah. Thank you so much. As we get the links from the provinces, we'll share them with the department. But I'm sure the provinces will also maybe directly send them to the department as well. Thank you so much, Minister, honorable members of the Select Committee, members from the provincial legislatures. Thank you for your attendance and participation in the meeting. Yeah, we see you when we discuss the final mandates. Yeah, thank you so much. The meeting is adjourned. Good evening.
Thank you, Chair, and good evening.
Good afternoon. Okay.
Thank you, Chair.
Right, cheers. Goodbye.
Long live the chair.
Indeed. Long live.
Recording stopped.